about my
Woo!
experience.
All right. And we're on. And I'm here with our producer, Revital Moses from IsraelTech. What's up?
What's up with you?
Okay, so we have an exclusive Revital met Modis. For those that don't know, maybe just a little bit of background about our relationship. Do you want to say it? Because if not, I'm going to make jokes and I might embarrass
Okay,
you.
long story short, Yoel is my boss and I'm his best employee.
True.
But long story, so I work for a company called IsraelTech and I am IsraelTech's first employee. I am the producer of the company. So anything that you see on IsraelTech, all the videos, podcasts, and episodes, of course, with the help of my team, I'm able to produce videos about the tech ecosystem. So that's
Awesome.
our
Cool.
relationship.
Woo! I thought we were besties, but okay. I guess it's just professional. Anyway, so if you're not following Moses in Israel and IsraelTech, make sure you follow and subscribe and find Revital on X. She hasn't used it in like a year. I'm trying to get her to start using it again because I think you need to, especially today. Everything's blowing up around Modi and Israel. Okay, first off, why don't you tell us, like, in short, your story as an Ola from India, a woman who moved from India to Israel, and then why don't you tell us more about, and then we'll just talk about going back to the relations. We'll show how old you are. And then we'll talk about today when you got to meet Modi.
All right. So let me take you back. I won't say back. Okay. So when you say Ola, for my Indian audiences, Ola means immigrant. So I am an Indian immigrant who's born and raised in India. And I moved with my family to Israel about 6 years ago. And I realized that in Israel, there's a community of about 80,000 Indian Jews, but like near to zero social media representation. And I said, without representation, you can't get anywhere. So that's why I started my YouTube journey. And I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. So I saw that as my opportunity. And I started my channel, Moses in Israel. If you haven't subscribed, shame on you. Go subscribe right now.
Subscribe. She's awesome. Find her on Insta too. You're like half of my Instagram scroll now.
And I talk about India and Israel relations because I feel like if I'm not the only one, but the right person to do it. I'm an Indian Jew, so I feel like I represent both India and Israel in a very unique way. I talk about, I do more cultural advocacy, and I'm trying to bridge these two ancient civilizations. That's the first question.
Love it. Yeah, why not? Okay, so before we get to today, why don't you take us back on a lot of people that haven't been following India and Israel? You've been, from a cultural perspective, for a long time. I mean, obviously, basically, since like you were born being a Jew in India. And I've been from a geopolitical and tech perspective for at least 20 years. So you and I have two very passionate about the two nations, but for two very different reasons. And today they came together. So this is like the peak collab of you and I. So first, why don't you take us back for our IsraelTech audience that may not know, and maybe even your audience that doesn't know, the Israel in India relation. How did it go back? Bring us up to speed.
Okay, so there's so much to talk about, but let's say in 1950, India, what's the word? Sorry, I had a long day.
You can show that you're
Israel.
old. I mean, if you were around in 1950, I don't blame your memory for being shot.
But India recognized Israel, and in 1992, India and Israel established diplomatic relations. But that's not it. I'll fast forward to when India was at war with Pakistan in 1999, when everybody was against India. India was at war with Pakistan in the icy mountains of Kargil. One small country from West Asia or the Middle East stepped up and helped India win the war through intelligence and drones. And I think that was the first actual way of Israel saying, like, we stand with you and we want to do more than just have diplomatic relations. And then
Amazing.
fast forward to, and then
wait, how did Israel help India?
Through intelligence, drones, and defense technology.
And even drones in 99, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was like 20 years. Wow. I mean, drones go way back. I mean, it wasn't nearly as advanced they are now, but I mean, for mountains, especially, it's really important in mountain areas, especially that it's cold, hard to get to for people too. So that's been a long time coming, right? 27 years later, here we are. And Modi came today, and you got to get. But wait, there's more. Yeah.
There's more. So in 2017 was when it changed, because now everybody has social media, so everybody started to talk about it. Uh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi
Why
was
did they talk about it? I mean, it was like 20 years later. Why would they talk
because
about it?
because Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to walk on Israeli soil. There was no Indian Prime Minister who came to Israel in 2017. And now this is his second visit, and it's historic and iconic. And I almost became teary-eyed when I saw pictures of the Knesset, or the Israeli parliament, light up with Indian flag colors.
That's so beautiful.
I was like, I was actually manifesting this the vision, and it actually happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then today was also iconic because I actually got to meet him in the flesh, but we'll get to that a bit
Ooh.
later, like you were saying.
You know what? Why don't we get to that now, and then we'll talk about what the relations mean.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we all know that.
And by the way, wait. We go back to when you went to India like 2.5 years ago, and I started rumors while you were in India that you were meeting Modi.
I feel like
And look at that. It came out to be true.
I feel like because of those rumors, you actually manifested my dream.
Exactly. I brought it to fruition.
So for people who didn't know, about I think a year and a half or 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to India as being part of the Indian diaspora, and Yoel just casually told people that I was going to meet Prime Minister Modi, and I'm like, what are you saying? Like, oh, I wish, but I don't think it's happening. And then 2 years later, I actually met him in the flesh. But wow, it was so surreal. It took me a moment when he actually arrived, and we were the first one, our group, because we were set in different groups. Yeah, because like, we were almost about, I think, 800 to 1,000 people, like from the Indian diaspora were there. And I saw, it took me a second to realize, like, oh my gosh, he's real. Because listen, he's the he's the Prime Minister of India. He's on my thumbnails. I watch his news, I watch his interviews, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is real. And he has this personality and this aura and this gravitas. Like, the fact that he has such a big fan following, it is real. Like, I experienced it firsthand with him today, and we shared a few, sentences or words, and everybody kept telling me, like, what would you say to the Prime Minister when you meet him? I think the first thing I actually said to him was like, thank you. Because of you, I'm a proud Indian. Because back in time,
That's nice.
I don't think like India was seen as what India is today. People often see India as post-colonial India, but India is so different. If you haven't visited India, this is your sign. Yoel, that includes you.
When are you taking me? Yala. Tell Modi to fly us out. We get it back. We'll get in his jet with him.
Oh my gosh, that they have to fly tomorrow. But I think this is an iconic visit, because tomorrow he's going to be visiting the Yad Vashem Museum, the Holocaust Museum, and I'm sure they're signing a bunch of agreements, which we'll know tomorrow.
Which we'll talk about. Let's talk about it. Great. So that's great. How long did you get to see him? That's all you got. How many you got to exchange some words? That's
I mean,
nice.
it was like a couple of minutes with everybody, right? Yeah. I mean, he is the busiest man in the next 2 days, and but the fact that we got a chance to speak to him and like his team, and I also had the opportunity to meet the Israeli ambassador to India, Reuven Azar, was here, and I think everybody was so excited because everybody just kept talking about this, but I think it manifested today.
All right. I mean? Okay. So yeah, totally. And it just happens. And like you said, it started with me like 2.5 years ago, manifesting it. I say you mean Modi. And so now I can go back to all those people and say I wasn't joking. All right. So one of the main goals, obviously, or not obviously, means so those that read anything, is actually the strategic collaboration. India has been, from the Israeli perspective, has been elevated to the highest form of partnership, which is called like the special strategic partnership, which is say for like America, basically. Maybe Germany, like that's it. And so that's a big deal. And a lot of things were discussed in partnership. So, I mean, I'll talk a little about the technology stuff. Maybe you can talk more about the other stuff. But the things that I'm reading and following closely is collab in AI, collab in quantum computing, collab in cybersecurity. And then, of course, in general, innovation and high tech. But maybe you can speak to a little bit about the historical, what are the shared challenges the India Israel has, and I'll fill in the colors technologically.
Okay, let's talk about because I know both India and Israel are geographically placed in a position where we are surrounded by very friendly neighbors. So and they,
So friendly.
occasionally or so frequently come and say hello that we have to stay alert. But I want to talk about shared values first. I think
That
both
makes
India
more
and
sense.
Israel, ancient civilizations, I think focused on community, shared values, families. I was taken aback when people, because I thought all the uncles and aunties in India would like ask me when you're getting married, and I thought it would be the opposite. But I feel like it's the same in Israel. The concept of like family, having kids early
Oh yeah,
on,
very much.
making sure you pass down your.
Even I bothered you, and I'm not your aunt and uncle.
Yes, you are like my Indian uncle who keeps asking me every 3 months, like, when are you getting
Yeah,
married?
probably more than that. You just brushed me off. Yeah, I'm just looking for an open bar. That's all.
Yeah, and I believe the concept of, I don't know if you've heard this, but Prime Minister Modi actually said it in his speech today. There's an Indian philosophy called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means this world is one big family. And then we have a concept in Jewish philosophy, which is Tikkun Olam, right? They go hand in hand, because you don't just take care of yourself, take care of everybody by doing things for the world.
Yeah, by actually not talking, which is so unusual.
Actions are so important.
Yeah.
What else? I think no, okay. Now let's talk about challenges, because I feel like I think that is something that people love to talk about. Let's talk about common enemies, right? There's one Hindu nation, that's India. There's one Jewish nation, Israel. Okay, and we are surrounded by countries that are just trying to finish us and maybe eliminate us from the face of this earth, but we are too badass for them. Okay,
I couldn't have said it better myself. Badass it is.
And then I think in India I did not face any anti-Semitism, but I see it creeping in different ways. Could be through social media, could be Gen Z going abroad, being exposed to these ideologies, and then bringing back to India. You don't have to be on Indian soil to actually get these ideologies. You can spread it through social media. Like it's like virus. And then the internal population sometimes can be, oh, we don't know what's happening, and then it definitely is a conflict. But India and Israel are strategic partners, but Indian Jews are a physical manifestation of India-Israel relations. So I'm very happy about, and I feel like we've only begun. There's so much more to be done, not just in the defense sector, but agriculture, education, filmmaking, and people-to-people connection. And if you are VCs and founders from the Israeli tech ecosystem, there is so much opportunity in India for Indian VCs who want to invest in Indian technology. This is your time. Get in touch with us. We'll help you out. Or if there are Indian founders looking for, let's say, manufacturing units or want economical talent, India is the place to go. That's it.
Also, by the way, if someone wants to fund our trip to India to cover the tech scene for IsraelTech, Moses in Israel, we would love that. Let's pull up a question. What up, sister? Why didn't you do a podcast with Modi? Did you reject his request?
Well, I mean, nobody rejected
I'm
nobody.
too busy. Yoel and I are going to go live stream later.
But nobody rejected nobody. I feel like he had a tight schedule and they had to make sure that everything was done, right? Because, I mean, he's coming here for, like, I believe, just for 24 hours. But the fact that I was given an opportunity to speak to him and, exchange a few words and ideas. And he by the way, Prime Minister Modi is one of the prime ministers. Why is he so popular? Because he makes sure wherever he visits, he will interact with the diaspora, with the Indian diaspora. That's why he's also very popular. He will give some of his time to the Indian diaspora.
That's nice.
But again,
that's similar to Israel, though, because Israel does that not necessarily with Israeli expats, but with Jews that live outside of in the diaspora. So it's
Also,
fascinating,
again,
and I can't think of other nations that are like that. I'm trying to
another
think,
common
right?
thing
That
about
we
India
know.
and Israel is I
Yeah,
think
it's
there's
unique. It's
more.
not common. It's uniquely Israeli and Indian.
Yeah,
By the way, so it
yeah.
turns out I thought it was someone corrected us. They were satellites, not drones, in 1999 that Israel helped with, which makes sense. I don't think drones really used so much for warfare
But for
there.
some reason, okay. Well,
Doesn't matter.
I've been
Well, it
thinking
was
a lot
like
about
images
it,
from
and
the
it's like,
sky. We would use drones now than it was that. Okay, so let's talk about. So we have a lot of enemies that hate us, right? Both of us. We're surrounded by them. But what are the challenges? So the Israeli challenges. Talk about the unique partnership, right? And if you guys are watching and not following, follow IsraelTech. Subscribe to us on YouTube, IsraelTech underscore, I think. So you can see Revi does all the work behind the scenes, even though I'm the face most of the time. So you actually want to see your talent, not just talking. So I'm trying to embarrass her. I'll think of better ways to embarrass you. Don't worry, I promise. So one of the things that's really unique, what brings the Israeli and India together, isn't just that they're enemies, but the fact that they need to ensure they have enough intelligence, sources, and supply in times of war. India and Israel can find herself at an existential war at any minute, suddenly. And we need to ensure that we have the technology, the supply chain, the energy that is needed for manufacturing, intelligence, and all that. And what Israel learned in its collaboration with the United States under the Biden administration, that even in the existential war, they still sided against Israel, sided with Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran. It was so hard to believe that people thought I was making things up. People that didn't follow geopolitics, and I told them what was happening. There's a full embargo. And so now what Israel has is an ally who's geographically closer, shares the same challenges. And I think this is the big thing why I think America is falling favor from allies. Not because they're becoming more isolationist, which has happened many times before in America. It's not that. It's that, let's say Trump makes you promises, but then the next president could be like Biden, and then he's not going to keep them. And then he'll make promises, then the next president will can be a Trump, like whatever. And so unfortunately, you can't make long-term relationships because the left and the right, or the political parties in America, have become so polarized. And it didn't used to be like that. They weren't so polarized. So promises made by one administration and the next administration, they have different politics. They overlapped very much in foreign policy. That those promises would be kept. I mean, Ukraine learned this too. That they said they'd be defended. They gave up their nukes and everything in the '90s. They had nukes. They gave them up, and they promised they'd be defended by America. And look what happened, right? And there's no American troop, and just sending money, right? So even that has skimmed back. So people understand America, even with the best intentions, they're not reliable, even in an existential war, both for Ukraine and Israel. And India is learning that too. And they go, who will be there for us no matter what, regardless of who is the world leader or the leader of that nation. And they know Israel is a country that they can rely on. And I think what Israel can rely on for India, so Israel can get from India can get continued satellite imagery, intelligence. What's going on is huge for them to be able to prevent problems. And India can provide manufacturing, maybe secure shipping lanes. I mean, I know they're trying to build their navy better. So is Israel. I think both of them are really working on investing a lot in their navy. So I think that is the main. I think that is like kind of the main thing people are thinking long term. And then with technological advancement, because we share all of the same enemies, we can trust them better than I think Israel can than any other ally. That more than even the United States. Because even under Obama, when Israel was going to bomb Iran, Obama passed the secrets over to Iran. And then the same thing was going to happen under Biden. And then he passed that over and he gave intel over about Israel moving from satellite images, movements from the Israeli military and Air Force thinking that Israel's going to attack. And so what we learned is not just will they do embargo you, they will take intel about you, feed it to your enemy. And they know no matter how left or how right an Israeli prime minister is, the entire Jewish people stand behind India. And it's not political, it's existential. And because the United States doesn't share an existential threat like Israel and India, they don't have that threat.
I think
What are your thoughts?
another reason to just add is just from because I talk so much about culture. I think it'd be sad if I don't mention is India is one of the countries on the east, like towards the east, which has kept Jews safe, never persecuted, never faced anti-Semitism, and there's still a thriving community in India. Yeah, and we call India our motherland and Israel our fatherland. I always say, well, it was very hard for me to leave India. India pampered me, like mom. You know, they're very caring mothers. They pamper you, and then you have your father gives you tough love and makes you like the person you have to be. So that's Israel for me. I learned so much.
Amazing.
I'm so much because of both India and Israel, like the mamash. I think that is one of the reasons as well.
Amazing. And I don't do that, obviously. Just troll you. Revital, what's next? What's next for Israel-India relations? What do you think we'll see from here before we get off?
I think next thing is, I feel like there has to be more interest. There has to be more education towards educating the Indian audiences about Israel, about Judaism, what Jews practice. Because I feel like there's a very big gap in terms of like educating about each other's religions. We love each other, but I feel like we don't know stuff. If that is bridged, I think that gives us more opportunity to do more projects together, right? Because it's more people to people. If you understand cultures, I think you can overcome. I have spoken to a lot of Israelis or people who want to go to India to do business, but they're like, it's like wild, wild east, and they don't know where to begin. Most people don't even know that Indians speak
it sounds you're going to build, Revital's going to build a consulting company for Israeli tech companies to help them go and partner in India. What do you think?
I'm going to say yes to everything you say because basically whatever you say manifests. So.
Okay, lovely, great. Okay. All right, 10 kids. I love doing this to you live because I do, when people don't know, I do this to you in person. And I get to do this live in front of your audience is like gold for me.
We are already 1.5 billion Indians in India and 35 million in diaspora. I don't think we need more.
Yes, you do. There's a
Indians.
demographic challenge. Absolutely. The future needs children. And they pay for your pension anyway. So, anyway, Revital Moses from Moses in Israel, my producer, my partner. I'm nothing without you. You're freaking awesome. So happy you finally got to meet Modi. It's only in time and can't wait. If anyone wants to do collaboration between Israel and India, Revital's your person. Definitely have her on her podcast. She's the coolest person I know. I love working with you. And from Israel, I'm with IsraelTech. So check out IsraelTech.com and follow some socials. Thank you, Revi. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
This was fun.